Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I have to admit that it's my Good Earth tea bag that has inspired our tour of the night sky. It's got a little Swedish proverb on it. Shared joy is double joy, and shared sorrow is half sorrow. Ah, the power of two. Before we go out to the telescopes tonight, I'd like to share some tales of wonderful twos that are found in the sky. Two birds, two buddies, two stars, and the search for a possible second Earth. Now, any 2 points can be connected to make a line. So to get ourselves oriented under the stars, we're going to look for 3 special stars that make a unique triangle, the summer triangle. It's a great starting point that we can work our way out from. Each corner star marks a different constellation. Vega is the brightest. It's actually the 5th brightest star in the whole sky. Deneb is an Arabic name meaning tail, and it marks the tail of Cygnus, the swan. Altair is the brightest star in Aquila, the eagle. Well, there we have our first pair, the birds. These are linked in one of the many tales of Zeus's philanderings, but I think I'll take the high road here and share a story about faithful devotion and the lightning bolts that link these 2 birds. Now, Aquila is no ordinary eagle. He's a faithful servant of Zeus. You know those famous lightning bolts that he would fling at folks when he was angry? Well, he did not quite have an unlimited supply. Only a few were forged by the Cyclops. So Aquila was his faithful servant who kept track of them for Zeus, even retrieving them after they were flung at some poor soul. The stars of Aquila include these on either side of Altair and these out here. In the case of Aquila, I don't try to play a dot-to-dot game, but simply say that this part of the sky is named in honor of the faithful servant of Zeus. Now, as for a tale of our second bird, we're going to hear about an incident when Zeus was flinging one of those lightning bolts, a good friend, and a reckless deed. Cygnus was best buddies with a boy named Phaethon. When Phaethon found out that his father was Helios, the god who drove the sun across the sky, he set out by himself to visit his father. I guess he hadn't heard about my Swedish proverb because he left his friend Cygnus behind. He set out to the east, traveling until he reached the glittering palace. When confronted, Helios readily admitted that indeed he was Phaethon's father, and he even granted him one wish. Being a pretty typical teenage boy, of course, he asked for the keys to the car, or, in this case, the reins to the golden chariot. Well, nothing could discourage Phaethon, so Helios gave in. But those wild and powerful horses weren't fooled. When they sensed a weaker hand at the reins, they took off high across the sky, leaving the earth below and freezing cold. Then they dove down so close that they scorched the earth, burning whole cities, creating the Sahara Desert. Zeus was furious and flung a lightning bolt at the boy, knocking him out of the chariot. He fell to earth, landing in a river, and drowned. Cygnus saw his friend plunge into the river, so he dove in, hoping to rescue him. He dove repeatedly into the river until he was exhausted. He dragged himself up onto the bank of the river and began to weep. He'd failed. As he lay there, he was transformed into a magnificent bird, the likes of which no one had ever seen before. Beautiful white feathers, a long, graceful neck. Zeus was so touched by the boy's devotion to Phaethon that he placed the swan in the sky where we see him today. Deneb marks the tail of the swan. These stars mark its outstretched wings, and its long neck stretches towards the center of the summer triangle, with Alberio marking its eye. Along the neck, right about here, we find a rather unremarkable-looking star. Even through a telescope, it's not much to see. Its name is Cygnus X1. Now, there's two remarkable facts about this star. One, it looks like a single star that's wobbling. And it's one of the strongest X-ray sources in the sky. Well, two brilliant minds brought these facts together with their theoretical work on gravity and made an astonishing discovery. That wobble could be accounted for if there was a second invisible star. Invisible because it was dead. A massive star over 8 times as big as our sun collapsed down into a space smaller than the San Francisco Bay to become a black hole. And it's pulling matter off its companion. That star stuff gets pulled in, heats up, and emits X-rays before disappearing forever across the event horizon. To date, this is the best example of a black hole that we have. Now, one last piece of sky that I'd like you to notice before we go out to the telescopes is tucked right under the wing of Cygnus, between Vega and Deneb. That's where the Kepler spacecraft will be staring for the next 4 years. Its special detectors are collecting mountains of data on the stars lying there. It's staring for such a long time because it's looking for another Earth, a tiny little planet that will cause its starlight to blink. It's already finding planets. Some of them are small and rocky, but so far nothing small enough to have a decent atmosphere or far enough from its star to be not too hot and not too cold for life. And what a discovery that will be if it can answer the question, are we alone? So we keep looking, because remember, the shared joy is double joy and shared sorrow is half sorrow. So grab a friend and let's head out to the telescopes now. Let's use the buddy system so you don't get lost in the dark and so you have someone to share the experience with. Once you're out there, there's lots of other twos to discover. There's 2 ghostly remnants of sun-like stars. There's Albireo, a colorful double star, Epsilon Lyra, a double-double, and I'll share some more stories about 2 lovers and 2 tiny constellations, Lyra and Delphinus, the dolphin. It's a story of how a dolphin saved a rock star.